Welcome to the Epic Gaming Night Podcast, a podcast about the stories and relationships board games create. I'm your host, Roy Canny, and with me, as always, is Matt.
Hello.
And Rob.
Hello, hello.
How's it going,
Hello.
everybody out there in Internet Land?
In Internet Land. I like it.
Internet Land. Things going pretty awesome. How you guys doing this week?
Going good. Just busy, man.
Oh, yeah.
Just
I feel you.
busy. Do you really? No, you're in Florida. You can't.
Oh,
You can't.
There's no such thing as busy in Florida?
No, you can't touch me because you're too far away.
Oh, I guess I get it. I see what you're saying. I can't feel you literally.
Yeah.
I'm doing well. Leon, I'm doing well. Hey, Micah, what's up? Chat in the house. Today we're going to be talking
Hello,
about
chat.
big games. But before that, I want to talk about a couple news things. One of which is they had the nominations and then the announcement of the Board Game Geek Golden Geek Awards. I know we've talked about this like in the past, but they finally did their 2018. Have you actually looked at this, Rob?
I have not had. I haven't even time. I'm now just looking
Cool.
at the email.
I'll make you
sent.
guess then. Don't look. Don't click the link. All right.
Okay.
Game of the Year 2018. What do you think won? Just random guess.
Game of the year. I'm hoping it's Western Legends. I know they were nominated.
Gotcha. Game of the Year for the entire year was Root.
Stupid game. Okay.
You said you were coming around and being interested in playing it again.
Yeah, but I still haven't played it. I mean, I can see why Root. I know it's got the different factions and it's a lot going for it. The main thing I like about Root is the art.
Yeah,
It's got really cool art. I love that 1985 cartoonish, like the Pilgrim's Progress artwork that they've got going on. So that's pretty cool. Or not even Pilgrim's Progress. I would say even older. I would say like Cinderella with like all the woodsy animals and stuff like that. But
yeah.
anyway,
So
I'm
next
not
category
surprised. Good
is
for them.
Best Strategy Game. What do you think won Best Strategy Game?
Best strategy game.
It's a game that you
who were the
recently
nominees?
played.
Who were the nominees?
I mean, I don't know I mean, I would know the nominees if I looked that up, but I just have the actual winners here. We're not talking
And
about
it's
no
one that I
nominees.
recently played.
Yeah. And strategy game normally means Euro.
Is it
game.
Brass?
Brass Birmingham.
Man,
It is.
you know what? It is a strategy game. It really is, and I believe it. So great. I've thought about that game even more since our last podcast and everything. All right,
Got to get that.
I
What
get
was
Brass.
it?
Beautiful game,
was it?
gorgeous game. It's just there's a lot to it.
You got to
And
get
maybe
that
I'm
beer to get
so
your people
dumb.
to work, right?
What? Oh,
Gotta get
bro,
the
I've
beer to
been
get your people
saying.
to work.
Yeah, super busy with work, and that's good and stuff like that. But yeah, Brass. What a great game. I could just be dumb, but is that a heavy game? Like, to me, it's heavy.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like a heavy Euro. I think that's what people normally.
Okay.
They
I
do.
don't want to be like, man, that's a heavy game. And then the Euro people are like, heavy.
Well, no
That's...
matter what, there's going to be someone out there that goes, "You think that's heavy? Just wait until you try."
Yeah.
You haven't played Spreadsheet, the board game?
No,
The board game.
2-day spreadsheet. The amount of tabs in the spreadsheet is
Ashley
intense.
is in the house. I haven't seen Ashley in forever. Ashley Pradella, the board game chick
Hey.
from Australia. How are you, Ashley?
What
Hello, Kent
up?
and Rayleigh, Josh, and of course Micah and Leon. I'm all right. I'm glad Brass is considered heavy because, like, if it's not, I'm like, man, I'm just my.
All right, so
It was heavy, but it wasn't too heavy.
best 2-player game. You got any? Did you already look at this, Matt?
Yeah, I'm staring at it.
got
I wouldn't
you.
be able to guess it.
The
These
best 2-player game that came out,
That came out in 2018.
and are there any options like any? I've got one in my head. I can't remember the word, but I can see the picture. Just go ahead and say it.
Keyforge, Call of the Archons.
Yep. I knew. I was like, it's that stupid card game from
Fantasy Flight.
and yeah.
I think that's pretty good. I mean, it was definitely one of the most popular. I mean, this is literally the Board Game Geek Awards is like a popularity contest because just everybody voting on it. So
Oh, that's what it is. My favorite thing though is like once you win, you can't win. So like eventually we may be nominated.
Oh, for the
For, like-
podcast, just because people can't be.
Because all the
We'll just
other
run-
podcasts will have won at that time, and we'll win by default.
Yeah, exactly. If we
Especially
do
now that you're
podcasts
working
long
at
enough,
Dice
all
Tower.
the other podcasts will have been won.
Yeah. Now that
Um,
you're at the Dice Tower and we're getting like a little bit more recognition, like eventually, if we're still doing this in 5 to 10 years, right?
All the other options will have been
between
exhausted.
Ebbing Night and I'm doing this because my mom made me podcast. Who's gonna win? Now, here's a good thing. That's a good podcast title. I'm doing this because my mom made me.
There you go. Best card game in general. This is another game you've played.
I do have
Did
the
Crystal Clans come out last?
I think Crystal Clans did come out last year.
It's not Guardians, and I don't mean that to be. Is it
So-
Guardians?
No.
The nominees for are Hardback, Illusion, Keyforge, The Mind, Palm Island, Pet Mats, Shards of Infinity, Sprawlopolis, Star Realms Frontiers, and Thunderstone Quest.
See,
Okay, for me, out of those,
Matt
the Mind.
pulled up the nominations.
For me, out of those, the Mind. I've had more fun playing and cheating at that game than and it's not even cheating, but we're not doing like I'm
Yeah.
not telepathic.
Rob's holding up his fingers, going.
No.
I'm just kidding.
No.
That would be like the most
That's
extreme
important.
cheating ever.
And ever since I did it with them at Dice Tower Con, I've been doing it with my wife and other people. Go. We do the noises type of a thing.
I'm pretty sure that's pretty bad, right?
Yeah, but we still lose. I think the farthest I ever made it was with my wife when we made it to round 8.
And
it was
now
just
with them
us.
saying the numbers. No, I'm just kidding.
Yes.
Like playing Hanabi with AJ.
This
Play
best.
Hanabi with AJ.
No, I just
Oh, it's like
I just
playing
remember
Hanabi with
the
AJ.
last time we played Hanabi with AJ. It's like that one's a blue card, that one's a red card. He's like, what? We're just like, come on, man. No.
It's backwards hand-holding memory, the card game.
Yeah.
He just keeps putting it down. He's like, the blue one? No, that's the red one. The blue one? No, that's the red one. We're just like, bro, please.
And you're like, this card right here is green.
We're just burning our...
And then they're like, oh, I'll discard it then. Why? Why would I tell
It's
you?
so good.
Oh, garbage. Okay, best family game. I don't know if you guys have heard of this game, but this game is insanely hot, and I actually want to play it, even though it's supposed to be Euro-y.
All right, what are the nominations? Is it my little scythe?
Hang on, I'm trying to find it. Okay, so the nominations are Azul Stained Glass of Sintra, Fireball Island, Gizmos, The Mind, The Quacks of Quedlinburg, Reef, Space Base, Stuffed Fables, That's Pretty Clever, and Welcome To.
All right, he's saying something that he doesn't know if we've heard. What was like the third one you mentioned
The third one was Gizmos.
after Gizmos?
The Mind,
After the Mind?
The Quacks of Quedlinburg,
And what was the one before Gizmos?
Fireball Island.
No, I would say the Quacks then. Either that or because I've heard of Gizmos. I played Gizmos. I played the Mind. I'm not going to say Azul, the expansion. I don't think it's
It's
Azul.
not
I think
expansion,
it
it's
was
technically a second version, but it's like the stained glass version.
it's an expansion.
It's the Century Spice Road of Azul.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good way to put it. I'm going to say it's one of those weird.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
the Quacks of Quedlinburg. This is basically a game where you're like pressing your luck as like you have all these different like components going into this like pot that you're making like spells, and I know you're getting points. I've never actually played the game, but this game is insanely hot. I see people playing this game constantly all over the place. Dice Tower Cruise is one of the most checked out games. I saw people playing it constantly. Like this game and Wingspan are like two games that I'd like to try just because like people play them so much, but I can't try them because there are no copies that are ever like left with no one playing them. So it's just kind of like,
yeah.
it looks like an interesting game, and the name of it's just like, what? the Quacks of Quedlinburg. What in the world is that? But it's basically you're making these like I guess cauldron full of potion things, and I know it's a big press your luck game, so it's supposed to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I saw something on it, and I was just like, because when we were at Recon, Mark said it was in his bag, and I was like, I've never heard of that, so I looked it up and was just looking at some stuff about it, and I was like, oh, that actually looks kind of neat.
Yeah, it's supposed to be great. I mean, I have heard nothing but great things about it. So,
hey, we love family games. I mean, Rhino
honestly,
Hero.
I mean, the type of Euros I like are the like light family Euros. I don't know if this would be how. I mean, I guess it's maybe Euros because there's resources and stuff, but I know it's a lot of press your luck too. So I don't know.
Do you like Terraforming Mars?
I liked it. I'd play it again. I just haven't played it that much. I only played it the once.
But you did like it.
Yeah, I think I did pretty okay when we played before. So
did you like it, or did you like the theme, and that's why you liked it?
I feel like the theme helped because I like space a lot, and I don't know.
Because see, I don't know if you like brass because you're not like a big history person, right?
I feel like I wouldn't like brass.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Terraforming Mars theme helps you, but I don't believe the brass theme helps you. I think that actually hurts.
I haven't been like seeking out Terraforming Mars to like go play it either. So there's that.
Yeah.
I feel like the other thing about Terraforming Mars that kind of helps people who might not be into like more Euro games is just the fact that the cards are random and then all the cards are sort of based on something, so you can look at it and learn or derive something from it. And you can go, okay, cool. I'm using this giant space mirror to carve out valleys for my oceans that I can then plant fields of rice next to. This
try
is
to build
neat.
combos with all that stuff.
Yep.
Nice. All right, the next game is Party Game, and this is. I mean, we don't have to go this slow on this. This
Was
is the
Happy
news.
Salmon in it?
I think Happy Salmon's older than that.
No, the highlights in my mind are Decrypto, Hell Hydra, The Mind, and Werewords.
So it probably was either Werewords or The Mind, but I would say for me, Party Game is, well, with the right group, Hell Hydra. With the right Hell Hydra. It's not a social deduction game. I'll just play with anybody. But with the right group, man, like our group at CavinCon, we had a blast. We used our powers. It went great. And then, like, people from my church, they were like, what? What?
The Mind One Party Game.
I believe it.
Cooperative game. What's the list for cooperative game nominees, Matt?
The cooperative games are Arkham Horror, 3rd Edition, Chronicles of Crime, CO2 Second Chance, Detective, Forbidden Sky, Just One, The Mind, Pandemic Fall of Rome, Stuffed Fables, and Too Many Bones Undertow.
Wow.
That's tough. I don't know.
The Mind won again.
I know.
This entire list is 2 games.
I feel like it's really odd because I've heard a lot of good things about Detective.
Oh, I know people that were mad that like Detective or Chronicles of Crime didn't win because people love those games.
Yeah.
And I mean, a lot of this
I've
is
heard
just
Chronicles
like,
of Crime, though, is better than Detective.
I have to. Yeah, Chronicles of Crime is supposed to be really good. I really want to try that one.
That's the British one. That's not the one by Ignacy.
Right. But yeah, best war game. I don't even know what that is. Never mind. Best innovative game. I don't know. This seems weird to me. Most innovative game.
So innovative. The things are Architects of the West Kingdom, Chronicles of Crime, Cryptid, Decrypto, Detective, Keyforge, The Mind, Nyctophobia, Root, and Welcome to.
I would say either one of the crime ones or Nectrophobia.
I feel like people, like a lot of these games are just like, people are like, let me pick the game that I've played, and they selected that, and that's why it won.
So is it The Mind?
Nah, it's actually Root.
Yeah,
Root?
Root's the most innovative
What?
game.
That's not innovative. That's just a smart game. But like innovation to me is, yeah, to me like the Chronicles of Crime or something like that, or the Nectrophobia, where it's having to do something
Keyforge
unique.
is like a shoe-in for innovative, mostly because
Only
that
because
game
of the
is
names.
different.
Yeah. Oh man.
anyway, best
You know what's
thematic game,
innovative?
Root.
Having a
Best
3
artwork and
hour-
presentation, Root. Best expansion.
Root. Well, it's not even out yet.
No, I'm just kidding. Best expansion. This is pretty cool. I really would love to play this expansion too. It's the Scythe Rise of Fenris is the best expansion.
Man, that thing is still winning. Remember the year it came out? It won like everything.
And the rest of these I'm not really worried about.
All right. Well, if you're not worried about them, I'm not worried
Well, it's
about
not
them.
really. It's like solo game, print and play game, blah 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 blah.
Blah, 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 blah. Okay.
Cool. Awesome. Well, that's the Golden Geek Awards. Pretty cool stuff. The Mind and Root just like swept. I wonder if it's just because a lot of people played it, or if I'm sure they're great. So, I mean, the Mind is probably super accessible, right? It's easy to play, easy to get into.
Oh, yeah. It's literally a pack of 100 cards. And then
literally
it's
have
got
those
more
numbers
cards
on
in it, but it's like 120 cards when it's all said and done. That's it. I mean, the rules are basic. It's how much do you want to cheat, or how much do you want to have fun?
Yeah.
Um,
Well, there's another
anyway.
thing we want to talk about in the news, and it's actually a Kickstarter that Matt brought up. So I'll let Matt talk about it and see, because I think he wanted to see if Rob had seen it before.
Yeah, so I know Rob used to play a lot of like mobile games, and there's a board game that's based on a mobile game that I think literally launched today called Kingdom Rush. I don't know if you played it at all, but it's basically just a tower.
It's a mobile
defense board
game?
Yeah.
all right, hold on. Let me look this up. All right, what's it about? As I'm working on a bunch of other stuff.
I mean,
What's all about?
the basis of it is it's just a tower defense game, but the designers, instead of saying, oh, like a normal tower defense game, you put your tower down and then it sits there until you decide you want to do something different with it. Once the round is over, each time you pick up all of the towers again and you sort of replace everything to kind of restructure it based off what's coming. The only way to upgrade your tower is to pass it to somebody else instead of playing it. So you have to leave that tower out to make it stronger for that round. And then the thing that seems really interesting to me is instead of having individual enemies that are coming through where you're having to move those and then you're trying to keep track of what has damage and stuff like that, they just have a
What did you say it's called again?
Kingdom Rush. The game's called Rift in Time. Kingdom Rush : Rift in Time. But the way the enemies work is just a 5x5 grid that sits in a tray, and the enemies are just sort of randomly on that grid, and it moves through the track, and then your towers, based off their orientation, just have a certain Tetranemo tile type of attack pattern. So it could be like an L or a squiggle or just anything kind of like that. And then you lay that down on the board in front of the tower, and then once you defeat all the enemies in the tray goes away. So I don't know. It just seemed kind of neat, but I just wanted to mention it because I wasn't sure if that was one of the games that you used to be really big into back in the day.
I do like tower defense games.
And for some odd reason, it reminds me of Mechs and Minions, but I think it's mostly just because it has a campaign, and it just seems very similar. It also has miniatures, so get hype.
Yeah, I've got so many programs running in the background that my Kickstarter page is now just being super slow. Just
Yeah.
so right now, only thing I can see is a girl with her bow, Illyria Swiftwind. And then there's a purple guy who's coming. Who's that's what she said. Who's loading up right now?
Perfect. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, doesn't seem so bad.
Nah.
Price wise, $59 and $79, and then the big group one, but that's more like retailer. So, $80 for April for a year. Is it almost like a Plants vs Zombies thing?
I mean, that's what tower defense is, right?
I know, but look at
Yeah,
those colors.
sort of.
Now it's starting to load. It's pretty. I like the colors.
Yeah,
I
it's
like
very,
games that
very bright.
aren't too serious about themselves.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I like serious games too, but like this game looks fun. I'm gonna put it on my heart list so that way I can check it out at another time.
Yeah.
Cool.
I just thought it was.
Are you back in it?
I don't know. I don't know that it's my style. I saw it and my brain went. I can't remember if Rob played this mobile game or not because I think you used to play like Clash of Clans.
I did.
And so I was just like, I don't know if you played any other ones. And I was just like, wait a minute.
And now I'm playing Clash Royale.
Gotcha. Okay.
See,
that was the one I couldn't think of, and I was just like, I can't remember what it. But yeah.
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 I love how our chat right now is getting into a conversation about apps.
Yeah,
I was
they're
gonna say-
talking deeply about Chronicles of Crime and apps and games.
Well, look, whoever is against Kent Parker, you're probably right.
He knows what he did. Awesome. Well, I
Better
guess we
be
can
glad
talk a
he's
little
got
bit about what we've been playing. If we played anything this week, we can.
What's that?
What have we been playing? I have no clue.
No, what is that? Like, you guys got to play games? How do you do that? What's that?
I don't know. I barely got to play games. Actually, I do have a thing that's pretty cool. I played more Mansions of Madness. I've never heard of that game before. We've never talked about it on this podcast.
Never.
Just kidding. But the cool thing is I actually got Heather, my wife, to play Mansions of Madness. She was like, I wanted to try playing a board game. I'm like, well, this one would be really cool to play. It's one of our favorites and it's cooperative. And she had played Elder Sign before, but she'd never played like Arkham Horror or anything like that. But she's like, oh, this feels very similar to the Elder Sign game, but just like a lot more going on. I'm like, they're quite different, but yeah, I can see the whole sanity and health and things like that. But yeah, so we enjoyed it a lot. We took turns back and forth reading the app and like playing through a scenario. We just played through like the first like basic scenario since it was like the shortest one. And I basically let her make like all the decisions of what we should do. And so that way she could, because I mean, I've played that scenario like 12, 13 times. But it was cool, and she liked like the puzzles and things like that in the game. It was just cool to share a game that I love with someone that I love. So it was awesome.
Aww.
It was definitely a cool game, and she was excited. Like the next day, I still had it sitting out on the table, and we had other things to do. But she's like, "Oh, let's play another thing of Mansions of Madness." And I was like, "I wish we could," but we had other things we had to do. But yeah, hopefully that'll be when we get back out and we can play through some of the other scenarios where I have no clue what's going on. That'd be super exciting. I did draw an insanity card though. I got it. I went insane because I was playing like a spellcaster, so I kept casting spells like crazy. So I kept getting sanity damage. But I went insane and I got a card that specifically said I had to begin each sentence with the word no. So it made it really awkward because I'm like, how do I do this and not be negative the entire time? And like Heather would come up with ideas and be like, we should do this, we should do that. And I would just be quiet because I didn't want to start off by saying no. So it made it really hard. And she'd be like, oh, you could go over here and you could do this and you could do that. So then I'd be like, no, that's a great idea. I'll go over there and do that. It's really awkward. And it's an insanity card that makes you sound insane. And I was trying to start a lot of sentences with like, no good, or no, this is not cool, or no, this sucks, or something like that, and then lead into like something else. But like, I know I didn't start every single sentence with the word no, but I was just saying no so much that I had to sound insane. And afterwards, I showed Heather what it was, and she's like, "Oh man, that's crazy." But it makes you sound crazy when you start your sentence with the word no. And it makes you sound very negative. So I was like, hopefully this doesn't ruin the experience for the game. But no, we still had fun. We still won, and it was great. So definitely enjoy the game. But yeah, Mansions of Madness. A game we never talk about on here.
And I have the expansion.
Dude, you should play that thing.
Yeah.
All right, so you play it with your wife this week. And then next week, Matt will play it with his...
I'm busier this week than I was last week. And last week I was busy. I actually today, like I was so busy today.
Yeah, springtime is rough.
I had to like stop and just type out my schedule because I'm now like double, triple booking myself because I'm like, yeah, yes, 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 no, yes, no, go, 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 yes, yes, yes. And it's like, oh man, what all did I commit to? And after I typed it down and printed off those pages, I was like, oh, oh.
Do you do where you like go and show a house and you're like, take pictures because we're going to the next one?
With some people I am, and other people I'm like, okay, what do you think about this cabinet? It opens, it closes.
This specific
What do you think about this
cabinet.
door? Oh, this door opens and it closes. If it doesn't, oh my goodness. And other people I walk in, I'm like, do you like it? No, okay, let's go. But that's also like on their personality. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not trying to ruin somebody's experience. So, like, if you want to take your time looking at the house, let's take the time. But some people I have a relationship with now where, like, I know, right? If just based off their expression, and if their face at first is like, and then I'm like, you ready to go? And they're like, yeah, let's go.
Nice.
Because, like, if you're going to spend so much money, fall in love with it. And if you just don't like it, don't buy it.
If there's
Let's
any
go to the
doubt,
next one.
then if there's doubts while you're standing in the house, there's definitely going to be doubts after you leave the house.
And like, you're not going to hurt my feelings by moving on. You're not. You're actually going to make me a very
Save
happy
everyone's
person.
time.
Like, yes. So anyway,
Did you get a chance to mess with any games, Matt?
Nope.
Hey.
Yep.
yeah, man. Well, here's the thing. I did play video game, but I did not play.
Oh, did you play anything awesome or?
First of all, to me, it was awesome. And I can tell this quick little story. So I've got a buddy of mine, and we play Battlefield 5 together because they just released the new Royal, or Grand Royal, the Fortnite mode. That's what I call it. Where it's called Firestorm. You get one life, you jump out of a plane, you land, and you try to find a gun. Where it's different than Fortnite is because you're not building stuff, you're just running around and trying to find stuff. And every minute and a half, the thing gets smaller, right? And
Wait,
so
which
we
one
play
is this?
squads. It's called Battlefield 5. It's one of the game modes on
Gotcha,
Battlefield
gotcha.
5. It's their Grand Royal mode. So here's the thing. We play squad mode together so we could be in the same team, but squads are typically up to 4, so we don't win a lot, right? Because it's like 2 guys versus all these 4 squads. Well, last night, we have this ongoing joke. We're like, bro, if we win one, we're going to go to the Cowboy, which the Cowboy is a Brazilian steakhouse here in town. We're like, if we win one, we're going to go to the Cowboy. Well, our very first game last night, we won, and we got so hyped. And I was like, bro, if we win again, we're taking our families, we're going this Sunday for real. Because we've won a couple games, but I'm like, no, we're going for real, for real. So we're playing, and we're actually doing really good. And typically, if we win a game, we get so hyped that we get too excited and we lose the next, 10 games because we're just like, ah! But Matt, Roy, we're, winning this second game. And it's just him and I. And at this point, we've already taken out 2 full squads of 4. Just us two. And we don't even have, the greatest weapons and stuff, but we're working as a team, right? It gets down to us and the final squad. And we're all within, a city block. This map is now so small where, if you fart, everyone's going to smell it, right? So we're there, and I shoot a bazooka at this guy, and it breaks his armor, and I run in, and I'm yelling at my buddy. I'm like, revive me if I'm going down. I'm going to get this kill. So I knock the one guy down, and then I put the rest of my clip in his buddy, and his buddy puts me down, but I hit him enough to break his armor where my buddy went in with one shot, killed him. We won the game. Bro, if you could have been in my house last night, we lost. It's midnight, and we're going crazy. And we're oh my gosh, we're going to Cowboy. And we
it's crazy how exciting those Battle Royale games are.
Well, it was just, we won back-to-back, and we're a squad of 2, right? And so you play with 64 players, and let's say 40 of them are 10 squads of 4.
So do you,
right? And then,
do you play very aggressive where you're just running out there trying to get as many kills as possible, or do you play a little bit more stealthy
it
than
depends.
that?
It depends on what weapons I have. But see, in this
been
game,
there
all I had
hiding in the bushes,
yeah, and see, yeah, I try to play it where I get a sniper or a rifle and a machine gun, but in this one in particular, that's why I was also surprised we won. I just had 2 machine guns, and the machine guns are good at up close combat, but not at distance.
So you had to just be in
And so
people's
that's why I
face.
ran in. That's why I was like, revive me, but I've got to run in because my gun is not going to do anything to him at distance. And we went and after winning, I expressed my undying love for him and how like
Actually,
I
Brazilian
love so much.
steakhouse dinner.
yeah. So now Sunday we're taking our families out and we're all going to go eat at this Brazilian steakhouse dinner.
That'll be
And
good.
yeah, we're pretty excited. So I did get to play that. It's just video games for this right now, this time of year.
Because Robert Newman's on the way.
Bro, I like to play. I used to play video games professionally. I used to actually be ranked 80th in the world at Call of Duty World at War. So I'm okay. I'm not the greatest.
Matt used to play Team Fortress
yeah.
tournaments.
So, but I like video games because when I have like a crazy life, like I do right now with clients and
You
stuff,
just let go, unplug.
I can turn it on at midnight, and I don't have to worry about setting up a board or getting anybody else to stay awake with me because there's plenty of people online.
Yeah, yeah.
And so, anyway, I know we're a board game podcast. That's all I'll say about that. But so that's what I played, and it was epic. And I said some stuff, and I was super excited, and I was like, ah! And
I wonder if a board game. I mean, I know there is like one or something out there that somebody's made, but I wonder if a board game could actually emulate that feeling of those battle royale games the same way. I think it'd be pretty hard to do.
if you were to like emulate the battle royale, because see, here's the thing. I think you'd have to do. You have to do it with an app, right? You'd have to do it with an app, and you'd like the app almost like 5 Minute Dungeon a little bit in a way where like you have so much time and then something happens, or even XCOM. I think XCOM is better, but just make it smaller.
If you could make it like a multiplayer
Imagine playing
hidden
Adrenaline
movement game. I don't know how that would even work, but if it was like a bunch of different people, but you're all hidden and you're all trying to like sneak in, but then also like blast each other. I don't know how that would even work.
What if you did Adrenaline, but then every minute and a half a room got smaller or a room disappeared? Yeah.
Yeah. It would have to be a bigger map to start, but yeah, something like that would be interesting, you know. I think it'd be cool if you like couldn't actually see the other players until they were in your line of sight, but then you would have to reveal yourself to each other. It'd be hard to know, you know. Can you see somebody? Can you not see somebody?
Well,
if there was an app
play a video game.
If there was an app that you just put in where you are at the end of your turn, and it would let the other players know if you could see each other.
But that's a video game.
But there'd still be a board, and you put your pieces on. It's pretty much a video game. Yeah, I don't know how you would make it happen. So
you're literally creating a board to emulate what the video game is doing.
Yeah.
No, you'd have to do something like Adrenaline with a bigger map, and then every couple minutes, whether people are taking forever to take their turns or not, and you give everybody like a timer. Or everybody, here's how you make it smaller. Everybody gets one turn, and then you remove the outer ring of spaces. Next turn, you remove the outer ring. So that way, everyone's still taking the same amount of turns, but it's just getting smaller and smaller. And see what I like about the Battle Royale in this game is with the fire, you can be in the fire, and you just got to make sure you heal yourself, because if you don't, it will kill you eventually. But like you can be in there and you're trying to like get health packs and get other weapons. What's kind of counterproductive because you're trying to get stuff to heal you and help you better while it's killing you. But anyway, it's just it's fun. And Micah, I thank you so much for the shout out. I am not Roy though.
Micah's going to that Brazilian steakhouse. That's what he just said.
Hey, I will let anybody go if they're willing to pay for me. Let's go, Micah. I appreciate it. You know what, sir? You are famous to me as well, and I truly mean that. You guys are awesome.
Hi.
But so yeah, I'll be at the Cowboy Steakhouse. We already have our reservations Sunday night, this Sunday, which is also the premiere of Game of Thrones. Let's get crazy real quick, right? The premiere of Game of Thrones this Sunday,
Matt,
and that's how my buddy and I
know
sold
you haven't watched Game of Thrones.
Who, me?
Matt, are you interested in it at all, or you just like, forget Game of Thrones? I think your mic's off.
Yeah, I think you're muted.
Totally am. Okay.
He's like, that's what I feel about Game of Thrones right there. And we're like, wait, you didn't say anything. Exactly.
I mean, I don't know. I don't think I'm gonna watch that part of it. I'll probably go back at some point and start rewatching it from the beginning. But it's like, it's interesting, but it's not so interesting to me. I'm not enraptured by it the same way the majority of the nation is.
I need to figure out how I'm even gonna watch it because HBO.
Here's how I became interested in it. Now, there are definitely parts of seasons that I skipped and other things like that. I had not read the books, and so I know like a lot of my friends and stuff actually had read the books, and they weren't surprised by anything. But this to me was like one of the first big shows that they did not care about killing off major characters, right?
Yeah.
And it wasn't even a show; it was a book. When your book kills its protagonist and then keeps going as a book, like, how do you do that? Like,
Yeah.
I've written books. When my protagonists die, the book ends. Like, it's over. It's a sad ending. Sorry, everybody. But they just keep going. And that kind of, like, blew my mind of, like,
And then
I loved
they'll
it
set
because
you up
it just-
another protagonist, and it's like,
well, it just
okay,
makes everybody vulnerable. Like, we're
his
going to go
son
see
takes
Avengers.
the mantle, and
When
he's
you go
not
see
doing
Avengers
things
Endgame-
necessarily the same way his father would.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you know what
I
happens
like
to him?
He
He
dies
broke
too.
his oath and betrayed his mother. Not really betrayed, but didn't
Yeah.
listen to.
No, it's cute. I know what you were trying to do. So, anyway, we'll see.
Then got stabbed in the neck throat.
Or are you talking about, Rob?
Something like
No,
that.
you're.
Man, that scene was brutal when I saw it. I was like, whoa!
Whoa!
Being a parent, that really sucks.
Oh, no, she's watching her son get killed?
Well,
Spoiler alert.
His fiance, wife, whatever she was.
Oh, when he was watching her get stabbed? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. That.
Spoiler alert
That'll mess you up.
for anybody that hasn't seen the show.
It doesn't matter. It's big enough. Who cares? Everybody
Season
dies.
3,
It's Game of Thrones.
The Red Wedding, they're all dead.
They're all dead. But yeah, I'm excited about it.
Anyway, so yeah, we're going to the Brazilian steakhouse, and then we're going to go home and watch the show.
Nice.
So, and then I'm going to pass out from the awesomeness and the coma of
Sounds like an
meat.
awesome Sunday.
It's not bad.
I was gonna say if you drink, Brazilian steakhouses are one of the best places to get caipirinhas, but you don't drink.
What's
so.
that?
It's the national drink of Brazil. It's basically cachaça, which is Brazilian rum, and lime juice and sugar muddled together. And they're really tasty, and you really don't taste the alcohol that much. And then you have 2 or 3, and you're like, ha, blah, 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 blah. And it's great because there's no like filler.
Meat sweats,
It's just raw.
and you wake up in the morning dehydrated.
It's great.
Okay.
I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just making up stuff because I don't drink either. Anyway, but yeah.
Man.
Well, today our topic, we're talking about big games.
Big games.
Like
Dun, dun,
giant games. And when I
dun.
mean big games, I mean like games that just come up with so much stuff it's ridiculous. I don't think this was as big of a deal unless you had like expansions added on, but with Kickstarter, there's so many big games out there.
Yeah.
So what are some big games that have massive amounts of content?
Zombicide was the first thing I wrote down.
Yeah, that was one of the ones I was thinking.
I mean, I've got others, but that's the first one that I put down.
What about that big one that you have, Matt, that is still not put together?
Good old Kingdom Death hanging out behind me in a box. Yeah, man, it's I got packages coming in till late next year, I think, for that game still. So
Dude, just fight the White Lion. Just come on.
I gotta get people together to do it at this point.
Right?
You have to make some new friends with alchemy or something. I don't know. Human alchemy is forbidden.
Or just like, all right, guys, we're really gonna double down on the cloning research.
just you go over to Matt's house and there's just like 4 of him just sitting around playing a game.
I would think that would be really cool because I'd be like, oh, my house would always be clean, but I know me.
You'd get
Yeah.
get yourself.
It's not gonna happen. one of me once a week might be like, I should probably sweep.
Would it make up for the other 3?
Here's open.
Awesome. Yeah, there's a ton of games. One of the main reasons I made this topic was I know
I also put down Rising Sun.
Oh yeah, Rising Sun's another one that's huge. I've got the the Batman Kickstarter coming in, and I've been watching like unboxing videos. I think there's like guys in the UK and stuff that have gotten their copies. I've just been like, that's a lot of figures. That's a lot of stuff. So I'm excited about the Batman Kickstarter. That's another one.
You want to talk about a lot of stuff, bro?
I know what you're about to say, and that's another one I thought of when I wrote this topic down.
But Joan of Arc, man. So here's the thing. I did not play a board game this week, but I did buy some board game stuff. Because I bought Trevor's copy of the Night's Watch back at Recon.
Oh, nice.
And so this week I ordered like a bunch of player cards, cover sleeve cards, because like I want each faction to have their own cover cards, and I also ordered the Scorpion Crew for the Night's Watch. So I'm jonesing to play. I don't know when I'll ever play it, but I'm jonesing to play. But I want to take the castle from Joan of Arc, and I want to use it as like a castle defense or some type of like big game mode for Song of Ice and Fire, like a siege.
I wonder how well that would scale, because they're definitely different scales.
Well, yeah, no, I understand they're different, but like in the game, it just comes with a cardboard cutout of here's the castle wall, or I could have a 6 to 12 inch, plastic castle wall. I'd rather have the plastic wall, even though it's not the same scale. So anyway, so we'll see. You know what I'm also hoping that comes in that's supposedly a big game after you put everything together? Lords of Hellas. That'd be nice.
Yeah. Dude, Tom was just talking to me about Lords of Hellas. He's like, I think the expansion stuff is finally coming. Maybe. It's been forever. I'm like, dude, my co-host has been so mad about that for so long.
Yeah, mine was supposed to come November of 2017.
And then one of the other guys in the office is like, "Oh, it's coming. That's awesome." He's like, "No, I mean, it's coming here." I'm like,
What were you saying, Matt?
They sent out an email the other day. Everything yours should be shipping, if not now.
Mine's shipping last.
No,
I read the email. Did you read it?
Yours is
one-wave shipping. One-wave shipping. They're doing one-wave shipping last. So what they're going to do is they're going to fulfill the two-wave shipper people, their second group, their second wave first. And so all of mine's going to come in one big shipment, but we're getting our stuff very last.
Why?
And so because they are suckballs. That's why. I don't understand. But the email, I can read it to you because I was very upset when I read it. I was like, okay, thank you so much. Like,
they've just been like driving that knife in that womb for like so long.
Yeah, bro. You have no idea. Yeah, so here's their wave. We are shipping both one-wave Sundrop packages and two-wave Sundrop packages together. Here are two-wave people. All right, once the ships arrive to the hubs, once the ship arrives to the hubs, priority will be given to two-wave people who got first-wave packages last. We will prioritize them based on our last shipping from first wave. Then we will send all two-wave shipping packages, then one-wave shipping packages. I'm one wave. I did that to save $20 because I thought, okay, I'll wait a couple months. Never again will I ever do that with Awakening Realms. And I'm still upset about it.
You backed that
but when I read that, I'm like,
then you reluctantly backed Nemesis after that, and you got Nemesis way before it.
Yeah, I have Nemesis base game, which I'm still waiting on Nemesis, the expansions, but at least I have the base game. And I brought it to Recon to try to get it to play. We got distracted with other games. But, like, anyway, I know we're talking about big games. That's a big game. Lords of Hellas is a gorgeous game. It looks cool. Yeah. And all of these Sundrop minis that they sent in the email, they look amazing. like with all of the expansions and everything and all these altars and stuff that you have to build, the game looks great. I want to play my game that I paid for almost 2.5 years ago. Because when did it come out? When did it fund? I think it funded like early 2017. Like, come on, give me my game. I want my game. Who?
Nice. So how do you normally tackle getting a game with a lot of content to the table?
Playing ahead, so you can set it up. That's the main way to do it. If it's going to be a big game where you're going to have to do a lot of stuff, you have to plan ahead.
I think a lot of times like these games come with like, okay, you got Rising Sun and it comes with this expansion, that expansion, this other thing, that other thing. I think a lot of times it's good to like just start with the base game. Maybe don't even open and look at the other stuff, but you don't have to throw everything in there at first. Like set it up like simple, try set up as tutorial as possible for the first game until you have the rules under your belt, and then slowly add the extra content in or the extra stuff in as you feel like the game needs to be fresh, you know? It's like with Blood Rage, you don't have to play with everything all the time, but after you've played the base game or after you've played it some, it's like, okay, now you can throw in the mystics, and now you can throw in the gods, and now you can throw in the other monsters and all that stuff. I mean, you don't have to have it all in there at the beginning, because that would be a little bit too much to swallow, you know?
Yeah.
This thing launched in June of 2017.
Rob's so salty.
What's funny is we did a switch. So you went one wave for Lords of Hellas and then 2 wave for Nemesis, and I went 2 wave for Lords of Hellas and 1 wave for Nemesis.
Why'd
So
you
here's the
go
problem,
wave
though.
for Nemesis? You heard Rob's horror stories, or had they not come
No,
out?
but here's the problem. They're fixing what happened on Lords of Hellas. They now have a full-time employee that all they do is quality control, because they were having problems with the sun drop in China, and they only found out like when they would go visit. And so they're letting us know all this great
You
stuff.
should be
I
sorry,
think
Jordan. No, I'm just kidding.
I think it's fantastic that they're doing it now. But the problem is, like, my game, in my opinion, has already lost a lot of value because everybody's bought and sold and traded and sold, and like, woo, I'm going to have the expansion. Woo. I'm going to have Kronos, which Kronos looks amazing to me. And he is part of the base game.
Nice.
So, anyway, I'll get off. Big games are cool.
Another thing is, like, what do you do? Let's just read the next question. Do you get excited when getting a big game? How do you approach getting it ready to play? Like when the game comes in, you get those giant boxes from a Kickstarter, or whether you got some sort of base game or like Gloomhaven or something like that. These giant games that take a while to even just get ready and put together to play. How do you approach that? Matt's
I'll
like,
let you
I don't.
answer.
They sit there in the shrink.
correct. Yeah. I haven't even punched out Gloomhaven because I opened the box up. It's like, big no. Just put it back.
Didn't you say you opened it up and looked at it and then shut it back?
Yeah. Hector was telling me when his came in, he was like, yeah, man, so I punched everything. I was like, how long did that take? He's like, I don't know, like 2-3 hours. I was like, huh. He was like, I mean, I was doing other stuff. And I was like, but still.
Man, I love Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea, and like it's my favorite game of all time. But all those 3D constructs have to be like built, and it's like I feel I'm like wondering how overwhelming that is for people who aren't used to something like that, or like building or modeling things. When you pop that thing open, and it's like, oh, look at all these cardboard structures that have to be put together. I feel like it's sort of the same thing with punching all the stuff for Gloomhaven, or pulling out all the stuff for some of these other games and punching it all. I love that part of the hobby, though, so maybe that's just me.
I do like that as well. Man, there's a lot coming with this stupid game.
Rob is
The passion's
stuck.
reignited.
They stole
You'll
his
still-
brain, and he is stuck on that Kickstarter.
Did you get your sun dropped? Or no?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, never mind. So we'll get ours I'll get mine before yours. Dang.
Yeah. I'm hoping to get mine before my daughter turns 3.
Before your daughter graduates from college.
Graduate high school. Yeah.
I'm hoping to get mine before my daughter. No, I take that back. I'm hoping to get mine before my daughter turns 2. And when I backed this, my wife was still pregnant.
I hope you get
That's
it
how long
before
ago
you
this was.
go into the retirement home.
I'm hoping to get this before my daughter turns 2 and my wife was pregnant with my growing body parts inside of her and her body parts making a baby person. My wife was making a child person when I backed this on Kickstarter.
Each question, I'll ask the question, me and Matt will cover it, and then Rob, you rant about Lords of Hellas in between.
I'm done
each
with Lords of
question.
Hellas. I'm done.
Because that's pretty much how it's gone so far.
I'm done.
It would be an Epic Gaming Night podcast if we didn't have some one topic that we just keep coming back to.
Exactly.
Hey, side note, they're giving the extension for Brexit, but now France has like got all their stuff in a tivvy and they want conditions. Back to games.
Your weekly update.
I didn't see any of that. I haven't been listening to NPR recently.
Do you ever find a game too big or intimidating?
No.
Yeah.
Yes. I take that back.
100%.
18xx games.
I think it's just more complicated than they are big and intimidating.
No.
They're normally like made out of paper.
Yes, that's what it is. When I see that and I hear the stories of Ambi and her husband, and we even saw some guys playing an 18xx game at Recon.
Yeah.
When I see that, I'm like, absolutely not. 1, it looks like zero fun to me. 2, all of the math, all the everything. I don't see where we're going to like have a great time. And so to me, I'm just like, nope, I'd rather not. I would just absolutely rather not. And that's like the only game I've come across that I think is too intimidating.
I think I could find someone else's like huge games maybe intimidating. Like if I didn't know it and they're like pulling out all the stuff and they're like, oh, we're going to play with this, this, and this. But if it's like a game that I own or a game that I purchased, like I normally have it ready to go and like I'm mentally ready to make it happen, or I'm going to play with like the stuff that I understand and know, and it's going to be great. Or I
was nervous the first time we played War of the Ring, but it was like a happy nervous. It wasn't like a intimidation, but it was like a, oh my gosh, look how big this is. Look how much it has to offer. This is amazing.
Yeah, some of those games are massive, and like sometimes you have these giant games that just have like a crazy setup time. Like, and I don't know, when I set up a game, I don't know, like when I set up War of the Ring, when it's like, Rob, we're gonna play War of the Ring with all the expansions. Like I set it up a day ahead of time, like the night before, and I just am like, get in the zone, set up the game. But I don't just like set up the game and just put the pieces wherever. Like I set up all the little figures and like little lines and have them all nice and neat.
Do you have a movie playing in the background?
I'll normally have I would normally be like listening to like a soundtrack or something. Like if I'm setting up Lord of the Ring, I'll be listening to the Lord of the Rings soundtrack, being like, dun, 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 dun. Yeah. And I don't know, I get into it, or if like I would even set up like Zaya and stuff like that, and like have all the ships and stuff and everything ready, and like even playing like back when we played Mansions of Madness First Edition.
Do you remember the first edition? How long it took?
For Mansions?
And then if you got one thing wrong, you ruined the whole game.
And I would study those cards and make sure they were in the right place. And that's what everybody complained about Mansions of Madness First Edition. But I was like, the game is still fun. And you're not wrong about all the setup time and the fiddliness. You're not wrong at all. But
it's still so
I still
good.
enjoyed playing it. So.
Yeah.
But that was another game that when I saw other people playing it, and like I would see people take Mansions of Madness First Edition to like the pizza place for like meetup group with, and like the thought of playing Mansions of Madness First Edition with random strangers was definitely intimidating to me, and I never actually ended up doing it.
That was the first time I ever played it. I did not know a single person at that place. He who shall not be named didn't join me. He wasn't there. He had something come up. And so I literally went to a comic book store that every Thursday did a board game night, every Tuesday and Thursday. Didn't know a single person. And they're like, hey, man, you want to play this one game where you have this stuff and you got to work together and kill these people? I'm like, yes. Oh, hey, my name's Robert, by the way. Oh, my name's Bill. My name's Susie. Blah, blah, blah. Loved it, and I fell in love with it. But see, that's where I think I'm different than a lot of other board gamers because I'm not so much of an introvert.
Right.
So, like, meeting new people and playing with new people doesn't
Taking
bother
that
me.
dive can like pay off big time, right? Because now, I mean, second edition's one
Sometimes
of your
yes,
favorite games.
sometimes no. Sometimes I play with people. I'm like, I'm never playing with you again. Game was good. You're not good. Um, you know,
I've
and
been
so
there too.
yeah. But yes, man.
What
Oh,
about
yeah,
you,
yeah.
Matt? I know. How do you feel about big games?
My things is usually they're very complicated, like you guys were saying about Mansions of Madness and stuff. And now that Roy's not here anymore, we don't
Right.
have a dedicated teacher, and it's just like it's very intimidating and daunting to like open up the Gloomhaven rulebook and try to read through all this stuff. Even though Gloomhaven's not too bad, but it's just like even with like Kingdom Death, where it's like Kingdom Death is a beast all its own. Not only in just terms of rules and the amount of stuff that it just has in it, but like if you get something sort of wrong, it's a campaign game, so you're effectively messing up. It's almost like messing up the rules in a legacy game where you're just like, cool, this entire playthrough is gonna be weird because of this one thing that I got wrong. So you're just like, that's what I'm nervous about is just messing up the rules somewhere in that process where I'm learning
Yeah.
and then ruining the experience for everybody else. Whereas like if I had the opportunity to like sit in and play one of these games with somebody else's group, that would be super cool, super interesting, and I would probably dig it way more and then be able to take that knowledge back and feel more confident about
Dude, I
what
tried to offer to get. I was like, I will set up your Kingdom Death. Like, bring over just the star stuff. I'll cut it out and glue it together for you, and we can learn this thing. No,
Yeah.
I tried
I was
for literally like half a year at least.
Yeah. But
I was trying to do a thing where me, you, and Hector got together and we would set it up and just paint stuff and like have like a day like that where we're just like just doing random
And then
assembly.
real life set in, and we're all like, oh yeah, we have to work and stuff.
Yeah, that's funny how that works. So yeah, I don't know.
Well, and then like I think you just bring up a very good point, Matt, that I didn't think about, but it's very true. Learning the big game is intimidating to me more than playing the big game. Like that's one thing that we took advantage, or I definitely took advantage of Roy as well. Is Roy learn this game, teach us how to play, great, right? Like TI4, TI3, great. Roy, what am I doing wrong? I'm gonna ask you the same question 10 times. You're gonna hate it 10 times.
No,
Great.
You weren't bad. Some people were bad sometimes.
Some people were bad, but now like there are some games where I'm like, all right, there's some games where I'm like, I really don't have to read all this stuff, so I won't play it. It is kind of intimidating when you see that big game because it also comes with a lot of responsibility. Typically, big games have big rule books.
Yeah.
So anyway.
And a lot of these bigger games too, they have so many like permutations and stuff in it that is I don't know. Like there's so many different conditions that your character can have in Kingdom Death Monster that you basically always need to have the rule book on hand just in case you end up masticated. And you're like, well, what does that even mean? I know it means shoot up, but what does it mean in terms of the game? So you're just like, cool.
Hey,
my arm's just done for, I guess.
Roy, now that you have your 3D printer, could you deck out TI4 and could we play like a big game of TI4 at Dice Tower Con?
I mean, I could. What do you mean deck out? I mean, I've seen.
I don't know. I'm looking at Leon's thing where his buddy's got all this special stuff, and I'm thinking I've got a buddy with 2 3D printers. So.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of like the boxes and like there's like little things to put around tokens and stuff like that. But I hadn't seen anything that I'm like, I need to print this immediately. But I've seen guys who've had crazy setups, but I think a lot of it was like they did even other special stuff.
Yeah.
I'll have to recheck it out then.
Speaking of Dice Tower Con, it'd be awesome if the Blood Rage stuff came in before Dice Tower Con to play that with
Dude,
Sam.
That would be awesome.
I don't think it is coming in though. I think it's like way down the road.
Whatever.
No, I think it's like August.
We're gonna go to Simon Expo and jump somebody. No, I'm just kidding. That's a joke.
Okay.
Just in case anybody didn't know.
Because, like, I would.
Yeah, laser cut stuff
Nice.
is really cool too. Kenny, my coworker, every single time I talk about 3D printer, he calls it a laser, and he's just asked me how my laser thing's doing, just to troll me, and he knows what he's doing. Every single time he's like, oh yeah, because he came over and played games one day. He's like, oh man, your laser thing's under the counter. That's pretty cool. Like with the lasers going back and forth. Like, I'm like, dude, there's no lasers. There are no lasers. Like, what are you doing? And then he just keeps going with it. Ugh. Such a troll.
Your parents think every game console you ever own is a Game Boy. When you mention that you bought Bitcoin and they're like, hey, what's that weird coin thing on the internet you got? How's it doing? Okay.
How's your Chuck E. Cheese tokens going? No, I'm just kidding.
Hey, shout out real quick. Birthday to Adam Sparkles. His birthday was like
Adam,
yesterday or something
hype.
like that.
Birthday hype.
Yeah. Oh, and I have something else to tell you, Roy, which you may know, but I'll tell you after the show. Some news we learned about a friend of ours at Recon.
Oh, yeah. I know. You already told me.
I told you about that?
Yes. Awesome. What else was I going to say? Are there any games that you have that started small but have grown big with the amount of expansions you have for it?
Yes.
He said through his teeth. Dude, I feel like this way. I mean, I honestly, I love expansions. And honestly, if I had the choice of getting a brand new game that I had to learn or getting an expansion for a game that I know that I love to add more content to it, especially if it's a game that I've played a ton, like I love expansions. But I have massive amounts for Mansions of Madness, for I mean, Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea is just massive as it is. And then the amount of stuff I have for Legendary is stupid, too. It's just like, so much. I mean, even though it's just cards, it's still a massive game at this point.
Man, speaking of Legendary, I wish Cool Stuff would restock Villains at some point, anytime this year. It would be great.
You just go on Board Game Geek and trade with
What
somebody.
about Amazon?
Or find somebody who has it on their trade list, message them and be like, hey, man, I'll give you $25 for it, and they'll say yes.
At this point, I'm just trying to get that level on Cool Stuff to just keep going up until max level, and then I go, okay, I'm never buying anything from this website again. I've achieved everything.
Cool stuff, like an achievement, like on a video game or something, like you're trying to get that rarity.
If it's something that I really like, I'll be like, cool, I should just do all of these because I enjoy the game, and that will drive me to experience the full breadth of what the game has to offer. But I'm not always just like, oh my god, I've got to get every one of these things. Like, it's
Jordan, does that 125 include shipping from Hawaii? Because if it does include shipping from Hawaii,
is that Villains?
Yeah.
I mean, Villains is good, but Villains is not worth 125. I like other stuff.
Well, that's what I'm asking. If that, well, he lives in Hawaii, so like shipping for him is like ridiculous. But if it's just the cards and you don't care about the box, could he bring it to Dice Tower Con?
Also, the other thing is like there's a playmat that comes with Villains that is easily better than the board in Legendary.
Okay.
That is also pretty solid.
Yep.
And that Fantastic Four set went up to like $1 bajillion, and I just kept mine because I love Legendary so much, and then they reprinted it. So maybe
you know what I wish they would reprint? The Battlestar Galactica Pegasus expansion.
Oh yeah, that's another one that's just ridiculous.
I just want the expansion. I want the other ship and stuff like that. That's one of those games I'll never sell.
It's
And
cool, too.
it's like $200-something now.
I played that on the cruise, and I still love Battlestar Galactica.
I know. I wanted you to give me your copy before you left, and you just like quietly ignored me and then drove away.
That was one of the few things I kept. I
know. I was like, hey man, I'm doing such a good job for you on this. Why don't you leave that? So Rob, we left the keys in the door. Talk to you later. Bye. All right, bye.
was I gonna say?
He's got a 35 locally, man.
If only I lived there.
Well, he could bring it to Dice Tower Con, bro.
What was I gonna say?
You got to learn how to finagle. You got to learn. You got to get a sale.
Learn how to finagle. I don't know what that even means.
At that point, I'm just paying him
Our podcast
50.
has turned into a marketplace for buying Matt games.
Bro, I am excited for this Blood Rage stuff to come out. And it stinks it's coming out after Dice Tower Con. We would have so much fun with the big playmat, all the clans, all the everything at Dice Tower Con, and the new monsters. Man, we would have so much fun.
Yeah.
Don't you think? I think we would.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh, so dumb.
Is there a game that you would say is the most massive game in board gaming? What do you think is like the biggest game that's actually out?
Now, do you mean biggest game by like presence
Quantity,
on the board?
size, presence, content, just the amount of stuff you can do, the amount of rules, all that stuff.
To me, too, I would say Kingdom Death Monster, just because of the stories I've heard, everything that it has. But then the other one for me is Zombicide.
Yeah.
Like, you can make Zombicide so big with your custom stuff, or you could, even their big boards are 9x9, 12-inch stuff. Like, it's a big playmat. And then when you put all the zombies out there, like you've been to my house before, you've seen my big table. Zombicide literally takes up my whole table, and we need extra space.
That's
like
crazy.
it's so good.
Another one we haven't talked about that's massive, especially when you get all of the stuff for it, is Cthulhu Wars. Like, those miniatures are huge. The game is huge. The board is huge. And they have tons of boards for that game. And tons of factions. And another thing, one of the best things I saw for April Fool's Day was not even really an April Fool's joke. They literally released a cat faction for Cthulhu Wars.
Yeah.
It was like the catastrophe. And they literally had it like a one-day Kickstarter, and they're making it. Like, it's actually an actual thing. And I was like, holy smokes, that's amazing. I wish I had Cthulhu Wars, and I would back it just because it was actually legit. So
I'm so excited for Joan of Arc. Freaking Leon. Did you see it before, Leon?
I really want to see what the boxes look like, what that comes in when it finally
It's gonna come in multiple waves, so I'm just gonna like save the boxes. They've already said they emailed me. Well, they emailed everybody, but I like to think they're just writing me. Robert, your order is so big that
awesome.
we have to do.
They personally emailed
separate.
me. Nice.
Jordan and Kent, we will play Rising Sun at Dice Tower Con. I'll bring my playmat or something like.
Hopefully not at 4
We'll set it up. No, you know what, we're playing at 4 a.m. and before then. We are definitely doing the Werewolf Legacy. That's happening. I'm so excited for that to happen. We'll make it part of the scavenger hunt too, where you get points if you play and you've got to be a werewolf, or you got to like accuse Roy, even if he's the moderator. Just accuse him. I'm so excited for Werewolf Legacy.
Chad, what do y'all think is the most massive game in board gaming? Are there any that we missed?
Now there's miniature games that get huge. Like my 4x4 playmat that I have for A Song of Ice and Fire is pretty big, and you use all of it. I mean, we would do the same thing with Rune Wars. Like, Rune Wars would take up your whole table, man. And you have a big table.
Nice.
No? You don't think so?
Oh yeah, the inside of my table is 4x4, so.
Yeah. Would you count, though, Rune Wars and other stuff like that as, like, part of this just because
if you buy, it's hard to count it as, like, a massive board game, but, like, a miniatures game can get massive when you spend. I mean, honestly, majority of them, they have to get massive for them to get the full potential.
Yeah, for it to work with it, it's work.
Like, I really like that Fallout miniatures game, and I thought it was a lot of fun, but just like any other miniatures, you get that core box, and you play a few games with it, and then you're like, okay, that's cool. To make this good, I need more. And it's just like that's how they get you, you know. Same with X-Wing, same with Rune Wars, all that stuff. Like the core set is not necessarily enough. A Song of Ice and Fire, that core set is actually pretty huge, though.
It is, and that's the only reason. Well, it's not the only reason, but it's one of the main reasons why I want to go to Atlanta.
Yeah.
Oh, we'll see. We'll see. I just want to play it with somebody. Like if he who shall not be named lived here, or if I lived near where he was, I'd play it a lot because we played the Battle of Westeros a lot.
That's awesome.
But man, it's such a
I like
fun.
Battle Lore rules a lot too, which is basically what Battle of Westeros is Battle Lore, right?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it was the exact same thing, just different theme.
Okay. Is there a big game that you need to play more of?
I don't know if I need to play more.
I think one of the ones you mentioned before, War of the Ring, I haven't played in too long. I need to play War of the Ring again because I love that game. And it's just been.
But see, here's the thing: I
long.
only want to play a game like that with like you or somebody else.
That's what I need. I need to find somebody.
Yeah.
Who
Well,
I can
you're
play
also
that with.
so much into the theme, right? Like, it. Yeah. Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea is not that big of a game to me. I mean, it is footprint-wise, but it's
looks
under
like
2
a massive
hours.
game, but even when you get on the table, it doesn't feel like it's that hard to get into for some reason.
Yeah. No, that's what makes it a great game.
The factions make it seem bigger than it actually is because they're like, okay, you
Well,
get a
and
bunch of
that player
miniatures and a
card.
bunch of 3D things.
Bro, when you get your faction card, there's so much written on that card. I mean, it kind of has everything spelled out for you, but it's a lot there. Speaking of stuff coming in, I hope my Lords of Hellas comes in before Dice Tower Con.
I mean, worst case scenario, I can always just bring my copy.
Will you have all the expansions and all the other stuff?
Oh, for sure, he's getting them first.
Yeah,
I don't have. I
it's
didn't
supposed to
back
ship
all
out,
the
right?
expansions, but I did do the Sun Drop, and I think I got a couple of other. But I don't care.
Dude, Matt,
I just wanna-
what if you get yours like 2 months before Rob gets his?
Boy.
Well, Matt's had his base game a year before I got mine.
Yeah, and it's just been sitting there, hanging out.
Oh, there you go.
I don't play games. I just buy them.
Jeremy
to put
says
on
it
my...
will show up while you're at Dice Tower.
Thanks, Jeremy.
Vote of confidence right there.
Well, I want to have it show up, and so I can bring it, so I can play with my friends. And I need a room. I need somebody who's going to Dice Tower Con. I need to crash with somebody. I do have money. I'm not asking for a freebie or anything like that. I just don't want to get a room this year. I've gotten a room, and I paid for the room every single year. I'm taking a stand, people.
You need to make like a group and talk
I've
to
done
the
that.
people in the group.
I've done that in the past, but then last year, the only person that
make
showed
a
up
group
in
with
the
somebody else who's got the room, you know.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll see.
Anyway.
I may talk to some people. We'll see what's going on. But then here's the other thing that's crazy about Dice Tower Con. You want to talk about something that's huge that takes up a lot of space? Freaking Stranger Things, man. It's coming out on the 4th of July.
Oh, I know, right?
Aye. And
That
yes,
trailer
Tom
was
has
crazy.
it. I'm very excited for Stranger Things. Does Dice Tower Con this year start on July 3rd? Wednesday, July 3rd?
Yes.
Now, you have to stay the whole time this year because it's your employer. I'm either leaving Saturday or I'm going to leave Sunday. I may leave Sunday this year. I left Saturday last year after our little meetup. That was a terrible idea. I was so tired because what did we stay up to like 3 or 4 o'clock in
we
the morning
stayed up
playing Rising
crazy.
Sun?
Yeah.
And then
That
we
is not a
like did our
short
meetup
drive.
like at 9:30, 10 o'clock in the morning. It was such a bad idea. See, our meetup should be the late night, the Friday night or Saturday night, late night Werewolf Legacy.
Nice. Huh, I need to start thinking
Ain't
about
with me and the 5
if-
kids. Jeremy, are you going?
Robin's like, I hang with the kids.
Bro, kids don't bother me because I'll be asleep. I mean, you saw me last year, Matt, in our room for all of 10 minutes. I was either showering or asleep. I'm like, we're in there playing games the whole time. But wherever I go, Matt's got to go. Got to make room for Matt. He may not want the kids, so we'll see. But Matt brings a lot of cheese. I need to be near a lot of cheese. So, anyway.
So what is your very favorite big game?
I'm going to have to say Zombicide. And I feel financially obligated to say Zombicide. Because I have over, I counted earlier, I think it's 11 core boxes of Zombicide of different stuff.
Wow.
Of just like expansions and seasons. And because I have all the expansions for regular Zombicide, and then I've got all the expansion stuff for Zombicide Black Plague, and then I have special character stuff that came out after the fact for regular Zombicide, and then I've got Zombicide Invader coming in. And so Jordan, to answer your question, yes, but I also love Zombicide. I love it. I love Zombicide, and even Jordan, if you didn't do that, as long as there's room for a cot or a blow-up mattress, because I would bring one of those down.
When I said make a group, I didn't mean the chat right now. No, just kidding.
Hey, listen, not everybody can work for not everybody can work for a great employer. That
Well, even when I don't, I connect with people, and we have a private group Facebook chat thing, and we make it happen.
This is the outside of work. This is the only time that Matt and I talk to other people.
Yeah.
This is it, bro. We're taking
I don't
full
have
advantage
time.
of this.
I talk to my television set sometimes. I'm like, wow, how could they do that?
Yeah, like outside of work, because I talk to so many people with work and stuff like that. Outside of work, with everything else I've got going on in my free time, I'm not talking about board games to board game people. I'm talking to my family.
Yeah.
Anyway, Jordan, we'll be in touch. As long as you get me on the first floor, I don't do heights. Anyway, I love it. Zombicide's mine. How about your guys?
I feel like for some reason, I know it is a big game and a long game. I don't feel like Twilight Imperium compares to like the size of these other games at this point, because 4 is more streamlined.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel the same as like these other big games. I mean, when you're talking about like the amount of stuff I have, like for Mansions of Madness, like I have a lot of stuff for that game at this point.
Yeah, me too.
There's so many tiles and so many
have all of-
monsters and so many, like the amount of characters is just ridiculous, you know.
Now I have a question for you, Mansions of Madness. When you play, do you play with all the expansions and everything selected? And when you do play with all them selected, how do you differentiate on the rooms? Because like
So what
every
I do
expansion
is
Yeah.
when I play or when I'm setting up the game to play, I just put all the tiles in the stacks, the different stacks of what they are. Normally when you get a map, it'll only like pull from like one or two of the different like tile groups. But depending on which map you get, because normally it's not like pulling from like 3 different expansions at the same time. It's normally, I mean, I've seen it pull from like,
It will pull from 3 different expansions at the same time if you have characters from those different expansions playing.
right, I think so. But I've seen it pull from like the base set and like 2 expansions, but I've never seen it pull like 1 tile from this set and then 1 tile from that set and then 1 tile from that set over there and 1 tile from that set over there. Because I think when they're building these maps, I don't think that they're building the map with every. I mean, they might have some. I mean, I feel like the more plays through you have, it starts to get deeper into the weeds of like what it can do, and the more creative it gets. You know, it's like, okay, the first time you do it, we'll do the base set, and the second time you do it, it'll do like the base set in this expansion. The next time you do it, it'll do the base set in this expansion, a completely different one. I feel like the app keeps track of like if you've played a setup already or not.
Okay.
But yeah, I just stack all the tiles in different stacks of the different like icon types, and then when like it says, "Hey, get this room," it'll show you the icon type, and I know which stack is which icon type. I have, like when we played on the cruise, we had all the stuff, but I specifically only played with the base set and the newest expansion selected because I only wanted to play with new stuff, which limits you on the characters you can select, but we were all playing
Yeah.
with the new characters. So, you also will only see the new monsters, which is also a plus if you're trying to try out something new, you know. But normally when I play at my house, I just have every single thing selected. And one room you'll find a witch, the next room you'll find a warlock, the next room you'll find a thug boss, the next room you'll find you find all sorts of crazy stuff all the time. And I love it because it's always something different.
Cool. How about you, Matt?
I don't know. I was probably gonna say Twilight Imperium or
I mean, it is a big game.
Sun. Yeah, it's
I think the only reason it doesn't feel big to me is just because I know it so well. Like, for normal people, they'd be like, oh man, that
That's
game
true.
is massive. And for me, I'm like, it's Twilight Imperium. I know Twilight Imperium. But for a
Yeah.
normal person, that would be really intimidating to get out and set up and do all that stuff. And it's just so huge. But I'm just like, I've done this.
yeah. I'm curious that when you mentioned Mansions of Madness and how much stuff they're putting out for it, do you think they'll actually come out with expansions for Twilight Imperium before, or do you think now that Adrian Peterson's gone, Fantasy Flight's just like, we don't care?
I'm kind of worried about it. I was really hoping that they'd put out a little bit of expansion just to have some.
You would
cool
think by
modules.
now they'd have them out.
At least
But-
some new factions.
At least one. It's been a year, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
been
It's
over a
been
year.
Yeah.
At Gen Con last year in the in-flight report, normally Fantasy Flight's token line when people ask them about future things coming out is that they don't talk about future products. This year was weird because people would ask things and they'd be like, huh, that's interesting, or oh, that's cool, or huh, who knows, or whatever. They didn't do the token line. Somebody asked, hey, when are we going to see an expansion for Twilight Imperium 4? And they said, we currently aren't working on anything and we don't know about the future. And I was just like, whoa, they literally said no. They
Matt, are
literally
you
said,
talking
"We're
to
not
the same
working on
person right
things."
now?
They didn't say they're not doing it at all. I mean, maybe they're doing it by now. But also the fact that that was Christian Peterson's baby
Yeah.
Yeah.
has me a little bit worried about the future of the game. But I know Corey Konezka loved the game too. I'd love to see them come out. I feel like it would just sell. Because, I mean, 4 was very well received. I mean,
Yeah,
it was.
everybody who has 4 will just buy it, you know?
Yeah.
I feel like the thing is, it's like even if it was one of those things that they only put out like 5 new factions or something like that, like all you're releasing is like sheets of paper,
Uh-huh.
basically, and it's like you could just put that out for $10-$20 and people would just eat that junk up, and you could just make money off of what is effectively printing something on cardstock.
Right.
And it's like, I just don't understand why they don't do at the very least that, because you see these other games that are like, I don't know, hitting it off, and then they'll just do these small, like Terraforming Mars. The Prelude expansion is just cards. That's it. There's like nothing to it, and that thing's
You do need
$20.
A little
Just-
bit more with the factions, but it's just the tokens, right? You just need the tokens that
Yeah.
have the flag markers on it. I mean,
Yeah.
I would immediately buy an expansion for Twilight Imperium. Like, whatever
Yeah.
it is. I mean, whatever it is. I mean, honestly, if they want to come out with it'd be insane. If they want to come out with another set that's the same size as the one that already is out, adds
That'd be cool too.
adds it back up to like the 8-player count and adds a whole bunch more factions and adds like more things, and it was $120, I would also buy that. Like, I don't care. Like, I'm gonna buy it if it's Twilight Imperium.
Yeah.
But yeah, it seems like they should and would, but I don't necessarily have hope that they will. Even though they're Fantasy Flight and they're supposed to be known for all their expansions, I haven't seen anything. But I'd love to have that announced like at Gen Con or something crazy, or like be at Gen Con. Like, I'd buy it. I don't know how.
Remember when they did that with TI4 and they were like, "Hey guys, and here it is."
Yeah, and they announced
was
it,
so
and then
awesome.
like the next day I was playing it, which was insane. So
Yeah.
it's like, what? I remember being at work and like it leaked. Like they accidentally put the website up for like a couple minutes, and somebody
You
screenshotted
texted
it.
us.
Oh
You
yeah.
texted us.
And I feel like I was one of the first people because somebody tweeted it at me and Sam Healy, and I was texting you guys, and I was texting Sam, and Sam's like, "There's no way that's real. That's not real. That doesn't even look real." And I'm like, "Dude, it's art that's different. That art is not in the game. Who goes that hard on making a troll to make like professional art for the game. No, it was the box cover. So it's just like, holy crap. But I remember like tweeting that out and stuff and being like, what in the world?
And a side note, Matt, I think you and I were just having a conversation with the same person.
Probably.
We may be set now for Dice Tower Con.
Yay!
You can't stay with us, Roy. Don't even try.
I'm going to be with my family.
Good. We're going to
my
make
wife
our
and
own
kids are coming,
family.
and they're going to Disney and not Dice Tower Con.
We're going to make our own family. And you're just be that,
what?
that weird cousin. That's right. I said it.
You're going to... I don't want to be in that hotel room if you guys are making your own family in there.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to be honest with you. After you saw what was happening, you would want to be in that hotel room. It's going to be amazing.
I don't think I can put the clean rating on this podcast anymore.
What are you talking about? You're a pervert. I wasn't talking about
I was like, man, this is exactly what you make of it.
Exactly.
They're literally doing alchemy.
You guys ready to wrap it up?
Let's wrap it up.
Boy, one segue to the next.
Exactly. Awesome, guys. Well, thanks everybody for joining us on our talk of big games and all sorts of crazy stuff. Yeah. We stream these. I was gonna say something cheeky about Rob's Lords of Hellas thing and keep him in your thoughts.
What
and
about
prayers
it?
or something.
What are we gonna say? Yes, please do. I want my game.
But we stream these Tuesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time at youtube.com/Epic Gaming Night. Thanks so much to all of our amazing patrons who help us do this show. If you want to support Epic Gaming Night, make sure to check us out at patreon.com/Epic Gaming Night. Y'all are so amazing. Thanks for all of that. And also make sure to check us out at Epic Gaming Night on Twitter and Instagram, at Shades of the Mind on Instagram, and Chug a Slug on Twitter. And me and Rob has stuff.
Board Game Newman at Instagram. That's the main one for you guys to check out. I'm super excited. Life is good. Appreciate everything. You guys are great. We love you guys.
I will definitely be at CMON Expo, so hit me up if you're going there. I'd love to hang out.
I should be there.
Talk with you guys. And then we'll be at Dice Tower Con, which will be a blast. Just super stoked to see everybody, and hit us up.
I would love for my Cthulhu Death May Die to come in before. It says July. Would you play that?
I heard a rumor that that Quartermaster Logistics has a ton of those statues in their warehouse currently. I'm like, what? That's crazy. Because they're just talking about the logistical nightmare of housing like a ton of Cthulhu statues.
Just actual plastic babies.
Yeah, it's like you don't think about the distribution like nightmares of like the miniature being like this big, like in a box. It's just huge. I'm sure. It's just like okay, pallets.
Oh, you know what's supposed to come in? Reavers of Midgard. That should be here before Dice Tower Con.
Oh, that would actually be a fun one to play. I'd love to try that.
That would be a fun one to play. And also, I got the new Reloaded Run Fighter die. I'm excited for that. I don't think you guys are.
I'm excited about lots of exciting games on the horizon.
Still never played that game.
Run Fighter die?
Yeah, I've heard you talk a lot about it.
I'm definitely bringing it to Dice Tower Con. It's a lot of fun. So simple. It's a lot of fun. And I'm also going to bring Zombicide Invader because that should be in May. Ooh. And that'll probably be the first time I get to play it. And anyway, you guys are awesome. Good night, everybody.
Night, everybody.
Love you guys so much.
Thanks for being great.